Welcome everyone to this video on SEO. So in this video, we're going to cover some of the most important and vital steps that you need to take in order to optimize your website to rank in the search engine. It's really broken down into two main sections. Um, as you can see here, we've got the setup phase. So these are all the things you need to do right away to get your account set up or get your site optimized. And you also have the ongoing phase. So the ongoing phase really comes down to creating content, whether it be blog posts, videos, more specific topics and things of that nature, pricing related things, and then going deep long term. But the setup phase is really where you have all the little nitty gritty details. So the purpose of this video is I'm going to try to break down these details in small bite-sized pieces that are extremely easy to understand, comprehend, and most importantly, take action on. So one of the tools that I use for SEO, one of the main tools, is Ahrefs. Ahrefs is a tool I use for all of my clients to optimize their website. I set up their webmaster tools, and you don't have to use Ahrefs, by the way. It's just one of those things that does help you out a little bit from a research perspective, but you really don't need it on a small scale for one website. You don't need it, but it will help you if you really plan on accelerating your growth and going hard with your SEO. Right. With that being said, I really just want to sort of dive into it. They break it down into basic SEO, technical, keyword research, content checklist, on-page SEO. A lot of this stuff, a lot of the things on their checklist item are already done through our website editor, so we don't have to worry about it. And then a lot of them are not really relevant to our business types. They're more so relevant to blog posts or blog type websites and national websites. So for us, since we're really trying to rank locally, some of the things on this list will not be as relevant. With that being said, let's go ahead and dive right in. The very first thing they have on their checklist is set up Search Console. And this is very important. It's also very easy to do. All you need to do is go to Search Console. You'll come to this page right here. And if you watched my previous video on connecting your domain name, you'll notice that I talked about use Google domains when you go to purchase your domain name. It's going to make your life much easier, and this is where that comes in hand. This is what I'm talking about. So when you come in here to Search Console, if you don't have any domain names connected yet, you won't see anything. You just want to click up here and then click Add Property. Now right here is where you're going to enter your domain name. Now, if you purchase your domain name through Google, then Google will already know that. So when you go to enter this, it automatically verifies ownership. However, if you did not purchase your domain name through Google, that's where it can be a little trickier, more technical, more time consuming, and just a little bit more of a headache. You're either going to have to install a custom record inside of your domain name, or you're going to have to install a piece of code on your website to verify ownership. Again, if you buy your domain name through Google, it's the same price anywhere else, but it makes your life so much easier. So that's what I recommend. Type in your domain name, and now it's going to say ownership auto verified. So it saves us a bunch of time. So again, highly recommend that if you purchase your domain name through any other channel. There are tutorial videos. I recommend just open up Google, make a quick, look up a quick video, watch it, and then it's not necessarily hard. It's just more time consuming, and it can be a little bit more of a pain, really. Now, the next thing is set up Bing Webmaster Tools. One thing I want to be very clear on with this video, I'm going to cover the most important things that are going to move the needle, the 80-20 principle, the checklist of items that are really going to move you forward the fastest and the most vital things. Bing is not one of the most important things you need to worry about. However, once you set up everything else, and you're at that point where now you're just trying to do every little thing to improve even by a little bit, then move into things like Bing. Same thing with Webmaster Tools. I'm not going to dive into that because you really don't absolutely need it. However, it will help you. And again, I personally use Ahrefs Webmaster Tools for all my websites, all my clients' websites that I do SEO for, because it really helps monitor your campaign. Lets you know if you have any new backlinks, any broken links, anything that might be affecting your SEO. It really does a great job highlighting those. The next thing is Google Analytics. This is very simple to set up. It's actually quite similar to how we set up Search Console, and another reason why I recommend using Google domains when you purchase your domain, because it's going to make it much easier to connect that. I'm not going to get into that because it is a little time consuming, and I want to kind of make this video solely SEO related. However, there's a ton of benefits to Google Analytics, and again, that's another thing. You could open a quick video, watch how to do it, and then set that up, and then come back. You don't have to do it right away, though. I would do that once you get everything else set up. The next thing you want to do, and this is optional, you can install an SEO plugin. This is not super relevant to our situation because the website editor that we use is built specifically for local SEO in mind. So it's going to come with a lot of the SEO tools that you would get with a plugin. And that's a beautiful thing that I like about it, is that you're able to do your own SEO without having to deal with a ton of different plugins and connecting different things and paying for other services. It's all built in, so we don't have to worry about that. Now, the next thing that we're going to want to do here, we're going to want to go ahead and create a sitemap. Now, the beautiful thing, again, about our website editor is that the sitemaps are already built into it. So we'll go to the website. All we have to do is open your website, put a backslash, and then put sitemap.xml. When I paste that, search it, it's going to bring you to a page that looks like this. Then all you're going to do is copy that link, go back to Search Console, and we set up Search Console in the first step. Go to Sitemaps, and then enter that sitemap right here. Click Submit. And that's as simple as it is. Now, it's going to take a little bit of time, but that's really all there is to it. Now, as you start building and developing your website more, this is going to become more and more useful in the future, and you'll see why when that time comes, right? So that was the next thing. You can see already on the super important list, this is like the most vital list. We check off Search Console, and then we can also check off a sitemap, okay? Now we'll go back to the checklist. Create robot TXT file, that's already done for you. The sites come with that, so that's another beautiful thing about it. Plan your website structure. Again, you really don't have to put too much focus on this, although this gives you a nice visual on how to kind of structure your site. Make sure your site's crawlable. Again, our sites come already built crawlable, which is a beautiful thing about it. A lot of these are already done for you. Make sure your site is indexable. Again, it's already done for you. You don't have to worry about that. Make sure you're using HTTPS. Done. Already taken care of. Make sure you're accessible. Your website is accessible with one domain. Now, I covered this in my domain name video on how to connect your domain name. And now this is where I want to touch on it a little bit more. It's best to just use one domain name for your website. I know a lot of people will use multiple domains and they'll point them all back to the same site. That has a slight disadvantage from an SEO perspective. So again, I recommend, just like Hrefs says right here, use one domain name. And then if you need to, you can go to this link right here if you want to point multiple domain names back to the same one. Like if you have a domain name and you want to put it on your truck or your van or your car to promote your business, but it's too long and you want to use a shorter one, there are ways that you can do that, but you kind of have to work around it so that it doesn't hurt your local SEO. 6, make sure your site loads fast. That's relatively simple. You don't have to worry too much about that. Make sure your site is mobile friendly. Another beautiful thing about the website system we built is that it's built for mobile. So you can literally edit the website on mobile first. And that's how I recommend, if you're going to edit your own site, make sure you're editing it from the mobile perspective. Make your edits here, your changes, and then go back to the desktop version and make it all fit, kind of mesh it well on the desktop version, because most people, over 80% of your search traffic, will be on a mobile device. So again, that's very important to keep in mind. And again, it's sort of already built in for us. Install an image comprehension plugin. That's one of those things, compression, sorry. You really don't have to worry too much about that. Of course, page speed is a big factor, but a lot of the images are already compressed, or you can compress them beforehand as well, so you don't have to worry about that. Fix broken links. If you're starting a new site, this is really not a problem at all. There are going to be no broken links, so you don't have to worry too much about that. Fix duplicate content issue. Again, from a brand new site, you don't have to worry about that. Find a primary keyword to target. This is extremely easy. If you're in power washing or car detailing or interior cleaning, literally you could just go on Google, search up your industry, and then like here, I'll show you. Washing services. Go down a little bit. Right here is going to show you different keywords that people might use, right? So then you can kind of take those and think about adding those to your site, right? So your primary keyword would typically be things like whatever industry you're in. If you're house washing, you might be house washing, right? And you'd want to have pages centered around house washing. If you do roof cleaning, that would be another primary keyword. You want to have a page targeting roof cleaning, and so on and so forth. Assess search intent. This is super easy. Most people are either going to be searching in our industry, they're going to be searching for price related questions like pressure washing prices, cost to power wash a house, roof cleaning prices, things of that nature. They're also going to be looking for services. So it's actually very, very simple. They're looking for prices, or they're looking for companies, or they may have some, is it safe? Is car, say, is power washing safe for siding, safe for plants, those kinds of things. So what you can do is you can write blog posts with those titles and answer those questions. Now, if somebody in your area is searching for it, boom, you're the number one person ranking because nobody else is really taking the time to do that, or very, very few people are actually taking the time to do that. So it's low-hanging fruit, in my opinion. Assess your chances of ranking in Google. You don't have to worry too much about this. This is an Ahrefs tool. If you download Ahrefs and you buy it or you use it, then you can utilize that, but you don't have to worry too much about that. Research what people want to know. This is very, very simple. What I just showed you, what people also ask, and you kind of use that as a tool. Solve reader's problem. Again, price-related questions, safe-related questions. Write blog posts that answer those types of questions that your customers ask you. Write a winning intro. I'm not going to spend too much time into that because I'm actually going to show you a few of these things here. Use headers and hierarchy. So every page should only have one H1 per page. And then under those H1s, that's like your main topic. Then you can have subtopics, which are H2s. And then under H2s, you can have H3s, which are subtopics. And that can go all the way down to H6. Break up things with images, common sense. You use short sentences. Again, that's relatively common sense. You don't want to have like long-winded paragraphs or anything. Adding a table of contents, that's very useful, but not required. Short descriptive URLs, very simple. Write a compelling title tag. We'll get into that. Compelling meta description. I'll get into that as well. Tell you what, I'll dive right into that right now. I'll go ahead and switch over here. So page titles, site titles, and then descriptions. I use the word description. It's the same thing as a meta. I could honestly, so people don't get confused, I can also put that in there as well. And I'll also uncheck this because I'm going to make this a template, so you can download this, use this for free if you'd like to. But let me just show you real quick for a page title. Right here, we've got our home page. You're going to click here, and you'll see this tab says SEO. I'm going to click that, and now you'll notice the page title is empty. This is an extremely valuable tool for your local SEO. You want to make sure that you use this. So going back to what we just talked about on Ahrefs page where it says find your primary keyword. If your primary keyword is pressure washing, then you're going to want to say something like this: pressure washing services in, and again, this is very important because this is local. So pressure washing services in, let's just say Tampa. And then what I usually would like to do is put a line like that, and then put the business name. Now, the page description, same thing. Try to use keywords in your description right here, but don't just stuff it. A lot of people will make the mistake of stuffing this and just kind of typing sentences that don't make sense because they want to search. Do not do that. That does not work anymore. That's a very bad strategy for the search user. So you want to just type in a paragraph that represents what the page is about while also using keywords strategically. So we could say something like Eco Clean offers pressure washing services, washing. Alright, so now you can say I got all those keywords in and it makes sense. Soft washing, roof cleaning, and exterior cleaning services. Right, and it's going to tell us, Right? And I have a Grammarly plugin, so it kind of helps. You can install it if you want to, but you don't have to. Now, if you have multiple service areas or main service areas, then you could add them in here as well. We service Tampa as well as so on and so on. Try to limit it to like 3. Don't like put too many in there. On the main page. And you're limited to 320 characters, so you can go up to 320, but you really don't need it to be long-winded. And then you also can add an image right here. And it's also nice if you make this image. I'll just pull in a random one here. If you optimize this image as well inside of Canva, or whatever editor you're using, name the file something that includes a keyword, because whenever somebody shares this page on social media, it'll have this image along with it. So it's a nice thing to have. So there's that. Now, we did that for an individual page. The nice thing is you can also do that for the overall site. So this is basically going to be your main site. So obviously you've got your site, and then under your site you've got all of your different pages, right? So here you can do basically the exact same thing. So I'll go eco clean and divide it up, power washing, company, and then input info, right? Business name, what you do, where you do it, right? Essentially. And then again, do the same thing for the description. Essentially what we just did there, write the description there. And now we did it for the home page. Now you can do that for each and every one of your additional pages. If you have 10 pages, you have a page for house washing, a page for roof cleaning, a page for gutter cleaning, a page for whatever services you do. You go through, make a page for them, have a title, have your tags, and then do exactly what we just did with the home page. And that's like step one. That's very, very important. Right? And then you can kind of go through, check that off. You can check page titles off, keyword location, site title, page descriptions, site map. Now, the local business schema is another very, very important feature that you want to make sure you set up. So for that, you're going to go to content, business info. Now, I've already sort of turned this one on, but if you haven't turned it on yet, essentially, if you don't know what local business schema is, you can look it up and read more about it if you want to. But in a gist, it's basically it's a collaboration between the major search engines, Google, Bing, Yahoo, a few of the other major search engines. It's a collaboration effort where they basically took structured snippets, little pieces of data like your name, email, phone number, URL, and images, and it makes it super easy for the search engine to detect not only is this a business, but what type of business is it. And so it's very, very, very useful and powerful for your local SEO. So I highly recommend it. You're just going to want to review and enable. Make sure all this business information is clear and concise, because this is information that is going to compare to information on other platforms like Yelp. And we'll get into that a little bit in just a minute. Yellow Page is going to compare that data and make sure it's legit, or not necessarily legit, but it's going to make sure that it kind of lines up with the other information. So it's important that you have the same exact phone number listed on the website that you have on Yelp or Yellow Pages or Home Advisor or all those other channels. You want to make sure you have the same exact information, no typos, anything like that. And once that's the case, you just click review and enable, and boom. That's another thing I love about this software. If you were to use another like WordPress or anything, you'd have to go get another plugin for that, and connect all these different things, and it would take you forever. With this, you just click a button, it's done. Now the image alt text, that is very useful as well. So it's extremely, extremely useful for that SEO. So you can see across the site, titles, paragraphs. It's all common sense. So that's why I don't spend too much time talking about that. But with the image, right here's a perfect example of an image, and this is actually a gallery. You click on the image, you come down here, and you'll notice a section for an alt text. Now, you can hover over it, it'll tell you more, and you can see right there, it says alt text enables search engines to recognize image content so that the text clearly describes the image. This is extremely useful for your SEO as well. So for this, you can say, pressure washing Tampa. And then how I'll typically do it, I'll just put your keyword and the location. That's the best way to do it, in my opinion. You can get a little bit more descriptive if you want to. Totally up to you, but that's how I do it. And you want to do that for every image on your website. Now, I'm not going to take the time to do it for every image, but now that I showed you once, I'm sure you got the gist, and you can kind of go through and do it for the rest of the images on your site. And then go ahead and click that off. Location landing pages, this is optional. It's very useful, and I'll show you why. I'll just, power washing. I'll pull up a couple different power washing. Enola is one of my service areas. And we'll scroll down, and you got the directories. And you'll notice right here, we're on the first page, but it's our Enola page, right? Now we could sort of do that same thing for someone who's based in Hummelstown. Right, so you do a search for Hummelstown, and then right here on the first page, our page for Hummelstown comes up. It's the same exact page, It's the same exact landing page style. Everything remains the same. The only difference is the location that you're targeting. So you've got Hummelstown, you've got Enola. You could do the same thing for your business, right? I'll do another one, power washing and Dillsburg. Come down here, and then this one's actually the first organic website for Dillsburg. Again, we click it, and it's the same exact landing page, but for that location. Now, if we only had one page targeting our main area, whether it's Harrisburg, Mechanicsburg, we're not going to have the luxury of ranking number one in those areas. And not only do you have the luxury of ranking, number one, or at least on the first page, it's more local to somebody that lives in this area. If it's, 15 minutes away from your main service area, it's going to feel like a more local based business if you have a page dedicated to that service area. So that's why we do it that way. And that's optional. One way you could do that, I'm not going to get too deep into that, but one way you could do that is simply come in here, duplicate whatever page it is you want to duplicate, and then you could just title power washing, and then whatever city, right? Whatever city you want to rank that in, you would just duplicate it and then change out everything. In this case, where it says Harrisburg, just change it to whatever location it is you're trying to rank in. And do that for all of your major service areas. Now, there is another way to do it using connected data, which is a little bit faster for someone like me that's doing it on scale. However, that's a little bit techy, and I don't want to make this too much of a technical based video. I want to make this more, something you can do right now, right away, with basically no tech skills. In the future, I may touch on that a little bit, but this is the easiest way to do it right out of the gate. Again, that's an optional, but very, very useful. Now, your local business listings. These are things like Yelp, Yellow Pages, Better Business Bureau. You can go through and set those up manually, but it's very time consuming. A better way to do it is to use a tool like Bright Local. And again, Bright Local is another tool that I use for basically all my clients. Bright Local has an option where you can go in and it'll automatically, it's a data congregator. So what it'll do is it'll take your business information that you enter and it'll go out and enter that information on all of those directory platforms automatically. So all you have to do is set it up once and it'll do everything else for you. Now, keep in mind, Bright Local, I think, I'm not 100% sure how much it costs for one user. Because I have an agency plan. However, I believe that it's somewhere around $30 to $35 per month. So keep that in mind. It would be cheaper to go through and do it all manually, but it would take much more time. The next thing you want to do, of course, is set up and optimize your GMB. I'm not going to get too much into that because that, in my humble opinion, I think GMB, for the most part, is common sense. Go to Google My Business. They changed it to Google Business Profile now, but it's very easy to set up. And there's hundreds of videos of people showing you how to set that up. I don't personally like to mess with Google My Business too much myself because it's a lot of hoops you have to jump through and it's tricky. If they suspend your account or whatever, it could be down for a long time. It could just cause a headache. However, with that being said, as long as you have your business information set up, you've got an EIN or an LLC or a DBA or whatever else you need, you could basically use that as proof for business ownership. And that's what Google My Business is going to want to see. So if you give them that information, you shouldn't have a problem with your listing being suspended or anything like that. And once you get it set up, you want to optimize it in the sense where you want to have all of your locations on there. You want to have your website on there. You want to start getting some reviews, add some images, all of those basic steps you want to do to optimize your GMB. And then one thing you can do to take it a step further is integrate your GMB map on your website as well as your reviews. And I may have done that on this website. Let me just double check. Let's see here. There's a Facebook feed. Yep. So right here, you can see I have the reviews integrated, which is one nice way to strengthen that connection between the GMB and the website. So we have a tool where we can do it for you. There's also many other widgets out there that'll do this for you. Essentially, what it does is it integrates your reviews from whatever channel, whether in this case Google, but you can also do it from Facebook, and it'll automatically link those to your website, which is very useful. And then one other thing you can do to help strengthen, I don't know if I have an example on this side or not. It looks like I don't. But one other thing you can do is actually integrate your Google Map service area and add that to your website as well. So that's another thing to sort of keep in mind. And then the final step I have on here is set up Hrefs. Again, Hrefs is optional, but if you really get into it, it can help you a lot, but you really don't need it. Okay, so add new pages. This is something you want to do on an ongoing basis. So just like I showed you with the landing pages, you might have a custom page for each and every service that you do, and you may add a new page for each month for a more specific service. Like, of course, you do house washing, but you might also do oxidation removal or something like that. And you could have a page dedicated to that, and then take that a step further by creating a landing page for each specific location. So imagine you have a page for roof cleaning. You have one roof cleaning page. Each month, you may add 5 to 10 new roof cleaning pages, but you're targeting different locations, different cities, and you have a better chance to rank in those other areas. So that's what I mean by that. The next thing you have is a blog post. So you can go in and essentially write blog posts and get very, very specific. And that's what I like about it. Come over here to your blog, click Add Blog. And this is essentially like adding pages, but it's much easier to do it this way. And they make it very simple and straightforward for you as well. So they're going to update or they're going to add in a bunch of kind of filler content to help you get started. You could just delete those. And then you're just going to want to click New Post. And then let's say you want to rank for the keyword stucco house washing or whatever super niche specific keyword it is you want to rank for that you don't want to dedicate a whole page for. This is a really nice way to do it. And then typically you also want to add an image right here. Go into Canva, upload your image, give it a title like stucco house washing or whatever keyword it is you want to rank for, and then create the blog. And from here, I don't want to get too deep into this. I will in the future make more videos on blogging and different ways that you can use it. But you can see here, up here, you got the made header. And then this, you can make this is actually a header 3. You can make that a header 2 if you wanted to, or leave it how it is. Put your title, whatever it is right here, common, or maybe you want to go with, is it safe to wash? And you put an image in here, optimize image, using the alt text like I showed you earlier, and then go on and write your little description, right? And then again, like we talked about on Ahrefs, break that up into different pieces. So do an image, maybe a small paragraph, put another image. You don't want it to be too wordy, too many words, because then people really aren't going to read it. Now you can also do things like add Q&A sections, drop downs, other widgets to kind of make your website less boring. Add more interactive features and things of that nature. And for that, you can really just play around with the widgets and the editor, kind of see what fits, see what play around with different things, find something you like, and utilize that. So that's a blog post. And then another thing I really like to do is add a YouTube video, again with the same title, whatever keyword it is you want to rank. Add a YouTube video and embed that YouTube video on your blog. And it's very easy to do that. I've made videos in the past. All you need to do is go in here, select video, drop the video in, and then you're going to go to upload it to YouTube and then copy the link to that YouTube video and paste it in right here, and it'll automatically upload, right? And so that's as simple as that is. It's very, very straightforward, very simple. And by doing that, your ability to rank for that keyword while having that YouTube video, that makes you rank much faster, like exponentially faster. So I highly recommend it. Now, another thing is when you make that video, also post it to Facebook, and then in the Facebook description, write a little description about it, but then also leave a backlink to your website. And if you want to take it even a step further, you can boost that post and start driving a little bit of traffic to that site in order to start picking up on some data and whatnot. And then finally, you have Pinterest. So Pinterest seems to be picking up in popularity in terms of usefulness, like adding content to it and it actually translating to good SEO results. So that's why I added it on here. You can make little graphics about whatever keyword or topic it is you're trying to rank for that month, add them to Pinterest, and then backlink them to your website. So yeah, this is pretty much a brief overview of SEO, our system. Again, the setup phases, everything. If you hire us to do SEO, this is basically everything that we do with our SEO plan. We go through the setup phase, set all of this up, and then if you hire us ongoing and you want us to keep doing SEO for you on a month-to-month basis, then we take care of all of this for you. So we're going to add the pages. Typically, you're going to get 30 to 40 new pages each month. So you might have 30 landing pages for house washing 1 month, and then 30 pages for gutter cleaning 1 month, or whatever keyword it is you want to go target on any given month, we'll create landing pages for each location for that keyword. Then we'll also do a blog post, and then we'll also create on that blog post, we'll optimize the images for it. So we'll usually create 2 to 3 images to go along with the blog post. We'll also make a little video. This is one of those things where you can literally just pull out your phone. If you're washing a house or doing a certain type of job, just record the video. This is where content marketing comes in. And you literally just record the video, send it over to us, or upload it to YouTube, and then we'll add it to your website for you. Or if you don't want to record a video, then we can just take a bunch of still images, make a slideshow based video out of it, and still get those same benefits and just add it to YouTube for you, and then put it on the blog post as well. And then we'll also post to Facebook, and then link it back for you. So those are the things that we do on an SEO basis month to month. Like I said, 30 to 40 new pages, blog posts, YouTube video, and that seems to be the formula that's worked very, very well for me and a lot of people that I work with. So again, thank you guys for watching. I hope this helps, and have a great day.